So Marijke, it's lovely to have you here. Thank you very much for coming.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Maybe before we start our panel session together, I thought you could maybe say a few words. I know you're very well known by a lot of people here present, but for those of you who might not know you as well, feel free to sort of introduce yourself a little.
Okay, so I'm Marijke Schroos. I'm the General Manager for Microsoft Belgium Luxembourg. I've been working for Microsoft already for more than 20 years. I took this position about 2 years ago. I'm not a techie, I'm not a tech expert. I actually have a background in social sciences, but I'm a true tech optimist, and I couldn't have chosen a better time to be here in this position than right now.
Well, we want some of that optimism, so you'll share some of your anecdotes with us. So, as you remember from this afternoon session, we talked about the ICT trends. We talked about the fact that ICT spend is still growing in 2025, and this investment is split into 3 big pots, if I can call it this way. We had everything that was around cyber resilience, we had everything around digital sovereignty, and last but not least, of course, around AI, and more specifically, generative AI. So I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts, Marijke, around Gen AI, and how do you think it will evolve? It's a big question to start.
Absolutely. When I saw the first demo and the first use cases, I said, wow, this is going to be really game-changing. This is really going to give us the opportunity to counter all of the big problems we see in the world. Game-changing, but also in the everyday, it will give us a lot of benefits on personal productivity, on the way we learn, on the way we make decisions, even how we can increase our creativity. So if I can give you a few examples, for me personally at the moment, I save about 7 hours a week. I'm a heavy user of everything we produce, but I've learned a lot from my colleagues there. So for example as well, I got some of your questions in beforehand, and then I typically ask my co-pilot as well, what would you answer? And then it gives me like 70% of the preparation already. But you see also more profound usage of Gen AI, for example, in the schools, where technical reading, you need to learn to read at a certain age. Typically it takes 18 months, but with the help of Gen AI, where you put a child in front of a camera, they get texts to read loud, and then they will get adapted texts, of course. That takes 6 weeks to make major progress. So all of these things make me believe that we are at the start of something very big.
Yeah, no, I have to say we also both went to the Gartner IT Expo in Barcelona. Well, you did. I got stranded at the airport, but I did watch all of the replays. And one of the points that they mentioned is businesses can, of course, implement AI at their own speed. And we get a lot of questions from different CIOs saying, where should I start? How can I get my business AI ready? What should I be thinking about in terms of infrastructure? What advice would you give those CIOs about how to start and where to go?
Yes. So I was at the Gartner Symposium and I've learned there a lot. I think there's also, it's good also to get a good understanding of what Gen AI can bring to your organization. I think it's very important as well that you're mindful that it's not an abracadabra, a magic thing that will overcome. It's really, it's just a tool. So it needs to fit in your business strategy. So you really have to think through your business strategy and then see what Gen AI can bring to you. And then if you look into the use cases, I think it will bring benefit for each and every one of the employees. But there are certain business cases where it will be much more. And typically what, for example, what Gartner was calling out was that the low experienced and the low difficulty tasks like call centers, etc., they benefit a lot. But who benefits also a lot is the high performing, the high experienced in very difficult cases, like for example auditors or lawyers, and there you see the huge increase in productivity. So when it comes to adoption, I think defining those use cases is important, and also finding your stakeholders. What we typically see in the early adopters is that they have foreseen a certain budget to start with, But then they need to make sure that all of the stakeholders are also in. So make sure that they are in right from the beginning. Deploy fast and to a big audience because you learn so much from each other. The unlearning is also part of the change management you need to go through. And then last but not least, of course, assess your data and make sure that you have the trust and the risk management also in place.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's a really good point, because when you're building everything that's related to AI applications and projects, companies should make sure that they also do it in a sovereign way, keeping their data resilient, of course, local, and under their own control. So sovereign and AI clouds are both essential. Now, I'm very interested to know, and it might be a bit of a tricky question, so I apologize in advance for asking you. But since you're working for a US company and you're based in Europe, what is your take on the advance of sovereign clouds in Europe?
Okay. So first of all, I'm happy to be European. I think Europe is putting the individual and society at on the same spot, and that requires regulation, while the US is more focused on the individual, Asia more on society. We've got the ideal combination. And I think we found a solution for that as well, technology-based, where you can still have the full benefit of the public clouds, while also having Microsoft Cloud for Sovereign solutions added to that public cloud's experience. And I'm very pleased to have Proximus Next as our actually pioneer for worldwide. And meanwhile, there are some other partners worldwide joining the club as well to deliver these Microsoft Cloud for Sovereign solutions now here in the Belgian-Luxembourgian markets. Because you're adding also a lot of the local flavor, making sure that, because it's a journey, it changes, there are changes also along the way, making sure that we are 100% always compliant with local regulations to keep that data here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as you know, we're also working with Thales and Intel, or we have worked with Thales and Intel to make sure that we also add extra ultra-secure encryption to the Microsoft Cloud for Sovereignty platform and attestation solutions. So maybe moving from this part to another key trend, which is not at all emerging, but a key trend around cyber resilience. As you know, Proximus Next publishes every year a report on how businesses in Belgium and Luxembourg actually are impacted by everything that's linked with cyber. And one out of 3 companies that were surveyed said that they had suffered some sort of cyber attack. And out of those, 50% said that it had actually impacted their operational resilience, either losing data or losing intellectual property. Now, with cyber resilience becoming more and more important, we also see local regulation evolving a lot in different manners, with NIS 2, which came into force in Belgium, further, of course, strengthening the cybersecurity requirements. And we had our CIOs also on these sofas explaining how it was also for them an opportunity to raise awareness in their executive committees. Now, companies, though, often feel that these regulations are a hindrance to innovation. So what is your opinion on this? Do you think we can be compliant as a company and still innovate?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think I use the comparison of the Formula One. It's a highly innovative sport, but it's also highly regulated. So if they can do it, we can do it as well. And I think the regulation is useful. I think cybersecurity is a real threat, and we need to make sure that we stay ahead of the curve. And next to that, if you look at the AI Act, I think a game-changing technology can be game-changing for the good and for the bad. So we need to make sure that it's for the good. So I think the AI Act, the regulation that has been determined in the AI Act, is actually very useful to look in those cases where it's going to bring a lot of value for the organizations, but also for society as a whole.
So I totally agree with you. Now, if we were to move on to another topic, as you know, and for a lot of people in the room as well, they're aware, Microsoft and Proximus signed a 5-year strategic partnership last summer in June. And I thought you could maybe give us a few words about what that partnership means.
Yes, so we have been working together already for quite a while. But it became now a very intensive and a very deliberate partnership, so really strategic on 3 different pillars. So first is the cloud infrastructure, because it will enable our country, the organizations in the country, the institutions in the country, to be fully ready for what's next, generative AI and all of the new technologies that will come. The second is digital identity. At this very moment, 7,000 password attacks a second are happening.
7,000 password attacks a second.
Every second. So it is important to work on those digital identity and the communication as such. And then, of course, cybersecurity and the sovereignty. So there we are working now together in a very intensive way, and I'm very grateful for all of the support you're giving in all of the experts to make sure that they know our technology as well and to bring it together to the customers.
Well, that's a great transition, actually, because there's nothing better than seeing how a partnership comes to life with a customer reference. And we've been working together on one specific customer, which we'll spend a little bit of time on, which is National Lottery. So for a number of years now, National Lottery has been entrusting us with their digital transformation in collaboration with yourselves, in collaboration with our affiliate Codit and our wider ecosystem of partners. If I were to take a little step back, I think the collaboration started really in 2021 when the National Lottery migrated to a new gaming platform, the online player portal. So what we did is Proximus Next basically provided the content delivery network, the CDN, to securely manage the back-end traffic between the lottery and its digital platforms, the website and the app. And you were, of course, extremely involved, including on the technical side.
Yes, absolutely. And I think Codit did a tremendous job there to make sure that the connection from the online player over the application towards the full backbone of the National Lottery, that worked seamlessly in a very high-performing way, but also with 100% security. So that's, I think, the ideal example of being innovative while adding the security there as well.
Yeah, and talking about security, most recently we also implemented Microsoft Sentinel, an information and event management platform to monitor security around the clock. Now, this system now covers all of the lottery's communications, including their headquarters, their retail shops, and their corporate infrastructure. On top of that, our Security Operations Center provides 24/7 monitoring and proactive threat management.
So it's not just about the implementation, but also the full management of the SOC services, so really good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a true strategic partnership that this case highlights, and we're very happy also to have the trust of the National Lottery to work with them on making sure that we basically manage from their connectivity to the network management, to security and real-time monitoring through our SOC. We've created an end-to-end solution together. So we look forward to continuing on growing our partnership in the years to come. And I'm so happy that you were here with us to share some of your insights and expertise. Do you have any closing words before we both leave the stage?
Well, I'm very happy to be here, of course. I think it is an amazing thing you have put together here. We do a lot in the online world, a lot of Teams meetings. Those have a lot of value, but I think bringing together the people here, the technology, the people, and then learn together and explore and connect with each other, it's really worthwhile coming here. So.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Please give me a warm round of applause to thank Marijke profusely for being here with us today. Thank you so much.
And Anne-Sophie, thank you.
Proximus Next. Think possible.